Hi everyone. Let me do a quick intro as well on my side. I'm Branko, one of the co-founders of Secfix, and serve as Chief Information Security Officer, which means that I'm in charge both for the internal cybersecurity practice of the company, as well as assisting our customers and also prospects in making them do good decisions in cybersecurity, especially implementing specific frameworks that are aligned with their compliance needs. Most commonly ISO 27001, and more recently the regulatory frameworks from EU, such as NIS2 and DORA. Today, I will be walking you through the platform's most, I would say, most flashy features, and discuss about some of the success stories we have with our customers, and also the actual benefits of using a compliance automation platform such as Secfix in comparison to the traditional methods of implementing the security program, running the security program, and aligning it with any compliance or regulatory framework that your company needs for their business success. So to kick it off, I will be sharing a screen to have some visuals, and I think we're good to go with the share. You can see the screen, yes? So here we go. So as I mentioned, we'll be going through the platform. I will be sharing some information beforehand before we go into the live demo environment. And please, any questions that you get along the way, please write them down. We will be getting to all the questions at the end of the presentation and have plenty of time for further discussions on anything additional you want to know that I haven't said already. So to start with the intro, so we'll be doing this automated compliance review and showing the platform as a tool for achieving compliance goals in a faster and much more fun way than the traditional methods of that mean engaging with the consultant or implementing it on your own using documentation tools, many templates, Excel sheets, and just generally trying to figure out what ISO framework is actually asking of you for your specific context of the organization. So we will be going through the benefits of just getting compliant with such a framework, what kind of benefits this does for your business, how is security not a cost center, but also a business enabler, and an aspect to your business that can actually scale your business, attract much bigger customers, especially corporates and highly regulated industry type of customers. And also, if you are working in a highly regulated industry, aligning and getting compliant with the cybersecurity framework might be one of the best decisions you do for your business, not just your security. Then, of course, we'll be going through the insights of the Secfix platform, and this would be the most interactive and fun part, right? We'll be talking a little bit about the use cases, how most common software as a service type organization can become certified in less than 5 weeks. And of course, the QA session, which I hope we will have, we will use up the full time. So just for the start, just some housekeeping stuff. You're muted by default. You will have the opportunity in the Q&A to have live discussions, whoever is interested, of course. We will record the webinar and we will send you the link afterwards, so don't worry about that. And you can place your questions in the chat for the Q&A session at any point during the presentation. I already made an intro on myself, so we don't have to spend much time here. Just maybe a couple of highlights. I've already conducted probably over 300 audits for different types of frameworks, most commonly for ISO 27001. And I do have certifications as an ISO 27001 lead implementer, lead auditor, as well as lead implementer for NIS2 and DORA frameworks, and certified information security manager, and those types of certifications that I've obtained during my career of over 13 years now. Yeah, let's talk about the benefits. So benefits of getting compliant early as a small business. So it can be even a startup with just a few people. We had many customers that really wanted to get compliant very early on when there was just a founders team, of like 3 people that are building a SaaS solution. And based on the type of industry they're working in, based on the type of industry they're serving as well, and type of customers that they want to work with, most commonly our customers come to us with this demand of getting compliant with a specific security framework because they want to work with a bigger customer, that bigger customer did due diligence on them and ask them a bunch of questions about cybersecurity practice, and most commonly ask directly for ISO 27001 certification, for a SOC 2 Type 2 report, or equivalent, depending on the industry. For example, if you're in the healthcare industry and working in the United States, you might also be asked for HIPAA attestation, or if you are processing credit card holder data, you might want to get into PCI DSS compliance. Or if you're working with the automotive industry in Germany, you would definitely get asked for TISAX, a label, as they call it. For example, you want to work with BMW, Mercedes, or any other bigger corporate in the automotive industry. Germany, it doesn't matter where you're located, you might need to go through TISAX process. And of course, there's GDPR as a regulatory framework that all of us have to comply with, regardless of how early we are in the business and regardless of who we want to work with. GDPR is an absolute must. And with the latest editions of NIS2 and DORA, NIS2 being focused on the critical infrastructure, and everybody who works with critical infrastructure providers in EU countries and EU candidate countries as well. And DORA, which is a framework that is focused on the financial industry in European Union, and pretty much all the entities that are in that broader industry of finance and investments, banking, and fintech and similar, and the crypto as well. So there is almost no type of organization that don't have some type of requirements or need to align with at least one of the regulatory frameworks that we cover. And this is why we have customers from all different shapes and sizes and all different numbers of employees. As I said, as small as 3 people companies to companies of hundreds of employees. So it's unlocking your business to pursue bigger customers, to reach more market share, to reach new markets, open up business in new countries, and even overseas. If you want to open up an entity in the United States, you're going to get welcomed, with new requirements and different requirements for security. And depending on which industry you want to work with, this is going to happen as well. So this is the absolute biggest enabler that we give to customers, is not just making them secure and protect their business from data breaches, it's actually enabling their business to scale further with these new badges of honor and certificates of compliance. So yeah, competitiveness is the ultimate goal that you achieve when going through our plan of compliance. So our platform is focused on automation. predominantly because we want to make everybody's lives easier. Because I can tell you a personal story that in my 13 years of experience, basically just the last 4 years, I've been doing compliance in a modern, automated way. And all of my years beforehand, I did compliance for my customers or companies I worked at. As a security professional, I did it in an old school way. I was using Confluence or, even Google Docs, or Notion was not a thing back then as well. That would have helped at least a little bit. And basically any other type of documentation platform where I had to build the entire security program from scratch, usually by myself. As security resources were scarce as well. You had one person that did all security and IT, kind of jack of all trades, kind of a security role, super common in SMBs. In startups, it's non-existent, just the CTO or a most relevant person takes all the responsibilities for security. And they basically have to build this from scratch. And, with enough time and effort, you can build a security program, just in any environment, even pen and paper. If you want to start writing things down, you can do that. I mean, it's going to take you a whole lot of time. It's going to be prone to a whole lot of errors. It's going to be messy. It's going to be almost impossible to maintain long term. But you can do it. I'm not going to tell you you have to use a platform to achieve the compliance goals. No, you can do it the most old school traditional way. Just, is it worth it? I would never do that again in my life. Even with, as I said, some of the tools that I already used at a time, it took too much time. It was super hard to maintain year after year. And I kept getting new findings in audits because I couldn't prepare well. And no matter how much I prepare, there was always dependencies on tools and other people, and it was super hard to keep up while doing all the other work you have to do. So this was not the only job I had, nor do I know a person that works in a company that this is all they have to do. They have obviously a bunch of other stuff, and this is just another thing. So because we know this is just another thing that companies have to do, it's a pain. It's hard. And the biggest issue is not knowing what you have to do next. I was a security professional at a time as well, so I was already familiar with these frameworks. I already knew what they require of me. I already knew they what the requirements are translated to in the practical way for my company. So I was the person who was translating ISO requirements or requirements of different standards, and I knew what my next step was. Even if it was a manual and painful step, I still knew what I needed to do. Most of our customers have no security experience or very little, probably don't know anything about any of these frameworks. They just heard the name and were like, I don't know, we just need to get this thing. So them getting into this ambiguity and just have to invest huge amounts of time just learning about it, we take all of that away. Plus, we automate as many steps as we can. Plus, you get handed over so many things almost ready, for you to consume. When I say almost ready, example is policy templates, right? You still have to review them and just enter a few details of your company and just confirm specific sections, do they apply? Otherwise, 99% of the document is ready for you to consume. So this is what we're going to see in the demo, how these integrations work. The biggest part of the automation, it's how we ingest audit level data in the platform from the tools, the tech stack that you use to give you alerts of anywhere where you're not compliant within these tools. That's one thing. The second thing is for us to take evidence information and place it in the appropriate evidence mapping for the framework that you're going for example, ISO 27001. So we're going to map the requirements that you need to do in any specific tool to these controls, and of course, import the evidence for you. So you have everything in Secfix in one pane of glass. So so let's just briefly talk about the process of compliance and how it works. So basically, and what is the comparison between the manual and the automated process? So quickly, once you get started, usually regardless of which framework you choose with us, and this is an example of ISO 27001, you might need a whole year to get into the ISO implementation from scratch on your own using whatever tech stack you currently have, and generating all the policies, procedures, documentation, doing the risk assessment, the vendor lists, the asset register, the configuration in all your tools with appropriate access controls, encryption, with hardening and secure configuration, network web filtering, data loss prevention solution, antivirus and malware protection, email security. I can go on and on. So many things to do. And with Secfix, first of all, you know exactly what needs to be done. You have every step planned for you in plain English, German, whatever language you want. For you, you have an AI CISO assistant. So kind of myself that you can chat with at any point in time that we trained for that we trained based on the platform and based on everything that we offered to customers and based on all the answers that we previously gave to customers. So our CISO AI has the ability to continuously guide you, even if you still have questions and ambiguity while using the platform, while implementing the framework. You can get instant answers 24/7 without needing to reach out to the customer support, which you also have available. So if you prefer humans over AI, you can always do that. I'm just saying, if it's a low-hanging fruit for you to go through the process. And and year over year, you still need maintenance for your any framework. There are continuous tasks and things you have to do throughout the entire year. And the effort is lower than the first time implementation, but it's definitely there. And we have the whole platform set up for maintenance. So after you get the implementations, we refresh your evidence. We get you alerts of when things need to be done in the platform, where employees need to do the training, when the employees need to do the sign-offs, when something falls out of compliance, you get new employees coming into the company, issuing new devices to employees. Some new devices are not compliant with security policy. We let you know about it. You spin up some new assets on the cloud infrastructure. We let you know where encryption is not turned on, where some assets are publicly exposed, where VPC is not properly set up, where users don't have multi-factor authentication. So as your system is changing, as your tech stack is changing, as your company is growing, things will pop up. And we will let you know as soon as things need to be remediated. So you will continuously be on top of your compliance and never be in a position to chase compliance just before the next audit and say, oh, let's go through all the process again because we haven't touched it for a year. So this will not happen with the platform. So yeah, let's just go to the fun stuff because that's where we're going to see the magic. So this is Secfix, if you haven't already seen the platform and how it looks like. This is the home screen. So home screen has these widgets that show you, the progress across different categories, across different things, and depending on which compliance framework you are complying with. So, for example, if you get ISO, you can just see the progress of ISO, obviously not other frameworks, but you will see the options that you can get through and all the compliance that we can take care with the platform for you once you go through the platform. So basically, your quick snapshot of where you are in the process. Now, monitoring. So the automated checks, this is all the automation I was talking about. So these checks are automated. So this only tells you what we are seeing that has not been properly set up, completed, or configured based on different categories and integrations that you set up with the platform. Integrations are set up here. You start with the cloud infrastructure providers. You pick your cloud infrastructure provider and connect them. Your identity provider, Google Workspace, Microsoft Office 365, depending which shop you are. Ticketing system are using the ticketing system connected. Also, change management software like GitHub are using an HR system. Pick one, connected. And based on all these connections, we ingest the data and show you what's wrong in the automated checks, as well as features within the platform itself. For example, some people have not completed the security awareness training. We keep track of that here, right? And we can see all the people that have not completed the security awareness training, and it automatically turns to green, right, and passes when everybody has done their job. So you can also run the reminders to employees for things they need to do. For example, MFA, you can check here, okay, Office 365 is reporting that everybody has their MFA turned on. This is probably because you enforced MFA. So great, thank you. So it means it's working as it should. Then for policies, if any policy has not been approved or if any policy has not been accepted by employees, you're going to see alerts here. If the Secfix agent that we also provide for monitoring the company devices, you can see if deployment of that agent has been successfully completed. And you can also check anything related to the cloud environment. So, and also if HTTPS has been set up, on your website, or anything basically that we can check from the outside based on the integrations and information you provided, we're going to let you know continuously and in an automated way. For manual evidence, basically, this is where you upload the documentation, screenshots, or both for the evidences that we cannot grab automatically. So for the evidences that you have to document in a specific way, for evidences where the integrations cannot reach, the specific configuration or setup, or basically there is just no integration with that type of environment, that you have to provide something manually. And it's also across different categories, and basically completing these manual evidences and submitting whatever is required, which we give you the full description, and we give you examples of evidence of what needs to be uploaded. Once you complete the manual evidences, the automated checks, you're done. That's because automated checks and manual evidence cover 100% of things you need to do to be compliant. So this is where you're gonna live most of the time in the platform to make sure all these things are completed. And those things will guide you to other places in the platform where you need to complete a specific thing. Just quickly, this is your employee view, where employees are automatically ingested through either the HR system or identity management provider. And this is where you also track, does this employee have the agent installed for monitoring their device? And just FYI, the agent is read-only. It just monitors for the things that are necessary for compliance. It cannot read any data, any documents. It cannot monitor for the websites that the employee visits. Privacy is protected at a maximum. We just ingest the data about hard drive encryption, screen lock setup, password policy, and the password I forget the word, password manager installation, sorry. and also the status of the device's software version and the serial number, and of course who is using the device as a employee name. So the bare minimum for what you need to check for these compliance frameworks. Security awareness training. We have the security awareness training available in the platform. Every employee can go and do the training themselves in German and in English. This is where they can download the agent themselves. And you can also distribute the agent through the MDM solution of your choice, like Microsoft Intune, Kanji, Jump Cloud, whatever you want. And policy acceptance, me as an employee, this is where I can accept a specific policy, digitally sign it with my account as, yes, me as an employee, I accept these terms of your security policy, and this is where you do it. And you can also track GDPR training if you subscribe to GDPR. And also see the start date, the end date of the employee, and additionally track the employee's access to specific tools through the integration of identity management provider, because we're trying to see if let me just open this one. I can just open my profile. Yeah, so for example, my profile and what access my profile has across different tools. So you can actually see everywhere that I logged in with Google, as Google is my source of data, and also information about my device, actually 2 devices that I'm using, this is what it's being checked. So password manager, hard drive encryption, antivirus installation, screen lock, and basically you can check that there. So then we also have, just a quick sec here. So yeah, the policy section, which is something that I would say is the most commonly used for the audits, of course, and the auditor asks about the policies the most of the time. We provide all the policy templates completed with just minimum intervention from your side. They are hosted in the policy section. You can do version and control and update the policies, and you will have a history of all the policies and their versions beforehand. And you can also assign policies to specific people for approval and acceptance. And every policy can be maintained and new policies added. Of course, you can go beyond what we provide. You can upload as many documents as you wish. And you can maintain all your documentation for security here. Also, inventory is automatically populated through the integrations. Also, the devices are shown here, employees are shown. So your SQL databases, your compute instances, and so forth, it's all showing up here. And again, in automated checks, you can always check. And by the way, this is the cloud checks. So S3 buckets, encryption, VPC flows, MFA enabled on root accounts, it's all being shown in the automated checks. So what else? Yeah, so risk register is another very interesting thing we have, where first we help you do the risk assessments with a guided questionnaire flow. And within this guided questionnaire flow, we help you generate the first set of risks of your organization, which you can then further maintain in this risk register by assigning owners, risk ratings, and risk treatment plans. And you can also assign approvals of these risks and maintain them across the time. Risk register is the most important aspect of the ISMS. Everything is kind of sitting on it. So this is a very crucial thing we wanted to make as interactive as possible and the flow as easy as possible for you to get to your identifying your risks. And of course, you can keep up with all your vendors. Every company that you use for your purposes, for as a third-party services that you use, and evaluate security of these tools on a regular basis by uploading their ISO certifications or SOC 2 reports, or sending them security questionnaires, and rating how critical this vendor is for you. You can also map the access of employees across all the different tools you use through the integrations, so you can see who has access to what, also in one place, which is, I would say, an insane amount saver, time saver for doing access reviews, for example. And yeah, that's and in the end, you can always generate a compliance report and see where you're at with your ISO or any other compliance. And you can basically go control by control, see where you failed with meeting compliance, seeing what is not passing, which evidence is missing, which evidence is still in progress, and what you have completed successfully. So you can, at any point in time, if you want to go control by control in a structured manner of the framework that you already are familiar with, or you want to go with the auditor through everything, this is a perfect way to go in order of things, and just see which evidence is related to which control and how I can show this best to the auditor. So we have this view as well, and you can also export it in PDF if you need, but you can also use this interactive view at any point in time. And it's always available to you in compliance reports. And this is how you conclude your ISO process. There is another feature that is very nice to have for enabling your business to showcase your security compliance. And if we go, for example, to our website, and this is how it looks like. You should probably put it somewhere in the footer as a trust center or security page, and it's connected directly with the platform. And we create, you have the ability to fully customize this page. So yeah, you go through the editor and you can customize this page, how it shows publicly, where we automatically import all the controls that you successfully completed, and all the badges that you can add for your compliance, any other documentation that you want to make available upon request that you can further approve. So you might want to first see who's asking for the documents before you just give it out, such as your security policy, your latest penetration testing attestation, your ISO certificate, your SOC 2 report, your other attestations or labels. And also this is where you can neatly communicate your sub-processors, because this is related to GDPR. Instead of having it in your privacy policy as messy text, you can have it here interactively, and showing which data does your sub-processor processes based on the usage. And this is how it looks like as a public published page. And this is how the document request looks like. So this would conclude the demo part. And for now, if there are any further questions about the actual platform, you can write them down. I would like to mention one success story with the company that we worked with just recently. It's a leading climate tech company dedicated to driving sustainability in the travel and logistic industry. Fairly small team, SaaS type of B2B SaaS type of organization, and they achieved their ISO 27001 certification 3 times faster than with traditional methods. They're a type of organization that works with big names, so such as Airbnb, Siemens, and this is where their demands came from as well to go through such a process and to enable them to continue working with such big names and scale their business. And they pretty much moved from their traditional way of managing the ISO process in Notion. And they were like, there's got to be a better way. Yes, there is, Secfix. And they definitely proved that this is the way to go. So maybe just one thing that I want to mention before we move into the QA section is that with ISO 27001, Secfix has had 100% success rate in preparing customers for the certification. This means everybody who started the process and booked their external audit passed on the first try and got certified 100% of the time. This means that the process that we built with the platform is proven process. This is more than 100 customers that went through the process that absolutely proves that if this is what your company needs and you start with us, it's a guaranteed finish with success. Okay, so I'm ready for your questions. What do we have? Okay, so the first one, Branko, based on your experience, what are the most common compliance challenges that companies face? So the compliance challenges and the most common ones are related to something I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. It's actually related to the available resources in the company in terms of people who will have time and to tackle this type of project. So the biggest challenge that we have, even with people that come in and they see all this automation in that Secfix offers, they sometimes say, okay, but is there a person that can also manage our automated platform for us? So some customers don't even have time to go through Secfix, which proves to us that lack of resources to focus on such a demanding project is an absolute biggest challenge. And this is why our latest release of CISO AI was, I would say, groundbreaking for bridging even that gap. So the first gap was, this is a super complicated process. We have a bunch of tools. We need to build a bunch of documentation, and we don't even know where to start. Okay, we fixed that. We built an automated SaaS solution, documentation central. You get everything handed to you. You get all your tools connected into one place. Everything lives there. Minimum effort from your side that we can possibly create is built into the platform. And then they say, okay, but I don't even have time for that. Okay, how about this AI security person that will hold you by the hand 24/7, and you need to do now even less because you don't need to think at all. You just ask them, okay, I don't know how to do this. Yeah, Secfix says something, customer success team says one thing, and together it all kind of makes sense, but what do I actually have to do? Can you tell it to me like I'm 5? That nice prompt that we all used in ChatGPT. Yes, you can do that. You can ask our CISO AI, please tell it to me like I'm 5. I just need to do this today. I have a bunch of other work to do. And the AI CISO will do that for you. So now you have even that challenge bridged, and now we can't think of any further, optimization of the time that needs to be involved in this. So now it's so optimized that it should be the absolute best experience you can get in getting through this process and not feeling tired at the end of it. So yeah, that I would say is the biggest challenge. Okay, so any other questions that anybody would like to ask? What are some common mistakes companies make when trying to streamline compliance? Most common mistakes. Well, most common mistakes is, I would say that, like in general, the most common mistakes are putting things off just before the audit. Uh, People get scared. I know why this happens. People who get exposed to these projects for the first time, and somebody just gets delegated, to, okay, you handle the ISO project. They never handle the ISO project. They don't know what ISO is. They start researching. They see all these terms in cybersecurity, um, all these, I would say, overwhelming definitions, and the language in the ISO framework is so heavy and so full of ambiguity. Like even security professionals get scared, right, of it, and because of that, you kind start putting it off, right? Okay, how soon do we need this? I have other things to do, and you start doing it, and then the first challenge where you have to work with other people in the company to make the project work, um, you get the first roadblocks. Usually with software development teams, they traditionally don't like their process being messed with when it comes to the pipeline, when it comes to, how they do code reviews or how they do anything in deploying the software. And if you try to mess with their process and try to implement some new security checks, secure coding training, or anything else, you get a lot of resistance. And at this point in time, I've seen that most teams just either give up or just get super frustrated because they just don't know how to tackle that roadblock, don't know how to move on, because they don't know the ISO enough themselves that they can articulate to these teams why they need to do this, and especially how they need to do it. This is where everybody gets scared because you don't understand the problem yourself. How are you gonna make somebody else, fix it with you? So in Secfix, it's plain language. It's the requirement is so simple. There are so many examples. There is just straightforward bullet points of what and why needs to be done and how it needs to be done. So you always have an argument for bridging those roadblocks. And another one is, if you can't think up of an argument, our CISO AI can think up with a witty argument and a full email or a Slack message that you need to send to anybody to convince them of why they need to work with you to, complete this specific control, to implement something on the cloud environment, to why they need to install the Secfix agent to monitor their device, or why is security awareness training important. You can always get these questions. You have a sidekick, basically use it all the time, and you can get through these roadblocks. All right, so what's one piece of advice you give to companies just starting with ISO 27001 compliance? One piece of advice I would give, well, I mean, aside of the obvious, like sign up with Secfix, I think that's, I'm not allowed to give any other answer than that. No, obviously, this is my go-to answer because this is the tool I would have loved to have had, when I was doing these things manually. So Secfix is not just a product of, market validation and asking a bunch of other companies, do you need this? It came from pain, from my own and Fabiola's and Grigory's and the people we talked to. We confirmed pain is absolutely there, and we want to solve it for ourselves. So we are our own customer. So we are using Secfix for our own compliance, and I'm having the easiest time. So that's of course the obvious advice, but generally, what I would say to anybody who's trying to understand ISO is to really understand the goal of why you're doing this, and to get the absolute buy-in from the management, if you're not already the management that is requesting for this framework to be adopted. If management is not behind the person that needs to implement this in the company, this project can super easily fail. And we've seen it fail where the management is just not behind it. It's not supporting it. It's not communicating to employees on like company meetings. Security is important. Hey, everybody, security is important to us. Hey, everybody, we want customer data to be secure. Please, everybody align with that in your departments, in your businesses, or subsidiaries if it's a bigger company. Please, everybody have this as a top priority, whatever you do. If you work in sales, if you work in marketing, if you work in customer success, if you work in product and engineering, or obviously security, or management, whatever you see customer data, where we touch customer data, see if it's done in the most secure and privacy-oriented way. We are super focused on this. And when you get the management behind it, like everybody in the company will welcome tasks related to security. So when you then deploy Secfix and all employees get these reminders, hey, complete the security awareness training, hey, install the Secfix agent, hey, accept this policy, they're like, oh yeah, this is in line with what we've been hearing all the time. So yes, I absolutely want to do this because this is the company culture, not just another boring task I have to do. So the biggest advice is get management to roll out the project, and then whoever will pick it up. So yeah, that's where I would go.